Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Festus. Today let's talk about how to prepare for the university intake for July 2024. Now for you to, beat the deadline and to make sure you are progressing well and you are not rushing at the end, you need to plan proper. You need to have things in place, some checks, some good flow of things so that you don't miss anything and that you don't end up rushing when you want to come for your studies. So just quickly today, in today's video, will just look like a summary, a snapshot of the things that you need to do for you to do very well in your preparation for the July 2024 intake. So the first thing that you need to do is to plan what you want to study. This will depend on several, factors, but two major factors that you can consider. One is, do you want to return to your home country and work there, or do you want to plan to stay in the country of your study and maybe get more work experience or to work there? Those are some of the things that you need to consider, because depending on what to do, you may want to consider a course that is in demand or is in line with either your home country or with the country where you're studying. If you're studying a course that is not in demand and you want to stay in that country where you are studying, it might be hard. But if you're considering to stay, it's good to look at some of the courses that the country where you want to study may need or the skills they might require. Number two, research on the country or university you plan to study. Now, this is based on the universities that are offering your program or the course that you want to study, based on ranking or a particular, maybe a specialization that you want to undertake. And another thing based on the research on the country that you want to study is also the cities, because you want to consider a place where you can manage the cost of living. You don't want to go to a country that is too, the cost of living is too high, and you will struggle to, to keep yourself and with the studies. Number three, plan for your finances, and this should be as early as February. We're talking about the July intake, so by February you need to have planned for where you're gonna get your finances. If it is getting the bank statement, you need to have your bank statements, getting them in place. If it's your personal savings, or if you are getting a loan, you need to start learning, and planning on how to get the money into your bank. Remember, if it is your savings, you need to have held that money in your accounting for at least 3 months. It is even more better if you have more than 3 months, 6 months, as long it takes, because it shows that there is availability of funds and you did not just deposit some money in the account just for the purpose of getting the visa. So you need to plan way in advance about your finances, and this will cover your tuition fee and the upkeep money. Now there's an amount that you need to show to prove that you have enough funds for you to do well or to survive in Australia. Number four, organize for your English test. Now here you can do the IELTS, you can do TOEFL, or you can do PTE based on the university requirements. And remember that from 2024, the English requirement is going to be raised. So you need to prepare, well for you to do well in English, and that you don't keep on retaking and, wasting a lot of money when retaking the English test, because it is expensive to do the English test. And this applies to if you are applying from a non-English speaking countries, or where English is the second language. You need to show proficiency in your English language. 5 is organize your documents. Put all your documents together. Make sure you have all things set so that you don't waste time when it comes to the actual application. And then number 6 is you need to research a good, reliable education engine. Most of the universities in Australia will require you to use an agent for you to do the university application, and so you need to get a very good education agent. And what education agent will do for you is it will do the university application for you, and then after application you get what we call the conditional offer letter. The conditional offer letter, it means you have some conditions that you need to meet before you get the unconditional offer letter. And some of the conditions that you need to meet could be the English language test, or getting the required score, and then maybe the funds. Sometimes they may not ask for approval of funds at this stage, but others they do. So it's good for you to be prepared to show and to meet these conditions. And so once you meet these conditions, the university will issue you with an unconditional offer letter. Once you get the unconditional offer letter, you go ahead and pay for your fee, and then the school will issue you with confirmation of enrollment, commonly known as COE. So this is the proof that you have been offered a place in the university, and this is the document that you use to launch your visa. So without COE, you cannot be able to launch your visa. So once you launch now your visa, now remember also, when you are paying for your school fees, you also need to pay together with health insurance, commonly known as OSH, Overseas Students Health Cover. Yeah. So you need also to show that you have, organized health insurance, because health insurance, it's very expensive in Australia, and so you have to have organized plans for your health, because attending to the hospitals, it's very expensive. You might not manage it without a proper insurance cover. The next thing is after you launch your visa now, the next thing is you start organizing for air ticket. And we're talking about launching your visa should be about 4 months, 3 to 4 months, so that you get enough time to prepare or to allow the visa processing, because sometimes it can take longer, others it can take shorter time, but you need to give that ample time for you not to rush at the end. So between 3 and 4 months, it's when you need to launch your visa. And now we are talking about April, if you're talking about coming to July intake. Now once you have that done, now start organizing for for your air ticket. If you had no money for air ticket, start getting money for the air ticket. And then once now the visa is out, you now start your packing journey, and you put things together, start getting organized for you to travel to start your study. It's always good to arrive a bit earlier, for you to get used into the maybe transport system, you get used into the environment before you can actually start the actual studies. Make sure you also have planned accommodation and services before you arrive. If you don't have anyone to house you, always it's good to organize for accommodation prior before arriving. Remember, currently there is a lot of demand for houses in Australia, and you don't want to be frustrated coming and then not getting a house. You can also arrange for shared accommodation services, and then you are ready to go. So that's just a bit of a snapshot of what you need to prepare for you to ensure you know seamlessly get into your July intake. If I have missed anything, you can let me know in the comment section below. But I think that's fairly what you need to actually meet the deadlines. So thank you so much for listening to this video, and I will see you again in my next one.